Ones that seem to last forever and just melt all my problems away.
Say less. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to TV Deep Dive. I'm your host, Amelia, and today we're breaking down the explosive episode 35 of Beyond the Gates, an episode that might just be the most shocking hour of television this year. If you've been following our recaps all season, you know we've been building to this moment for weeks. But if you're just joining us, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell because with only 3 episodes left after this one, you won't want to miss our breakdowns of the season finale. Fair warning, we're covering everything in this episode, including that ending that has social media on fire right now. So this is your official spoiler alert. Let's dive into Reckoning, the episode that finally answers the question we've been asking all season. Who killed Marcus Hamilton? After 34 episodes of secrets, lies, and carefully maintained appearances, Reckoning delivers exactly what the title promises: a day of judgment for the residents of Oakwood Estates. The episode brilliantly intercuts between 3 major events: Vernon Dupree's testimony at the federal investigation, Anita's desperate attempts to contain the unraveling scandal, and the memorial service for Chelsea Hamilton following last week's shocking accident. What makes this episode so powerful is how it brings together nearly all the season's disparate threads: the land fraud investigation, the Marcus Hamilton murder mystery, the Richardson financial scandal, and the Dupree family's internal power struggle, and shows how they've all been connected from the beginning. Director uses a stark visual approach in this episode, stripping away the glossy, golden filter that's been Oakwood's signature look all season. Instead, we get harsh lighting, unflattering angles, and an almost documentary-style approach that perfectly captures how the community's carefully constructed image is crumbling. Let's break down exactly what happened in this game-changing episode. The episode opens with Vernon Dupree being sworn in for his testimony before federal investigators looking into the fraudulent land deals that established Oakwood Estates 30 years ago. After evading subpoenas for weeks, Vernon finally appears, but not for the reasons we expected. In what might be finest performance this season, Vernon projects confidence initially, but as questioning progresses, we see cracks in his composure. The investigators reveal they've received documentation proving Vernon wasn't the mastermind behind the land fraud, a revelation that visibly shocks him. The interrogation scenes are masterfully intercut with flashbacks to 1995, finally showing us the full story of how Oakwood Estates was created. Young Vernon and Bill Hamilton were business partners, not rivals. Marcus Hamilton, Bill's brother, discovered their plans to use fraudulent methods to acquire the land. Anita, then Vernon's fiancée, was actually the architect of the scheme, not Vernon. These revelations recontextualize the entire season, showing that Vernon has been taking the blame for Anita's actions for 3 decades out of love and loyalty. The most powerful moment comes when investigator Agent Rivera asks point-blank, "Mr. Dupree, did you or your wife have anything to do with Marcus Hamilton's disappearance?" Vernon's hesitation speaks volumes before he finally answers, "I can only speak for myself." Meanwhile, Anita Dupree has learned about Vernon's testimony and realizes their carefully constructed world is collapsing. What follows is essentially a masterclass in acting, as takes Anita through a full emotional journey from panic to calculated determination. 3 key scenes showcase Anita's increasingly desperate attempts to control the situation. 1. Her confrontation with Danny, who finally admits she was the one who provided documents to the investigation. Their mother-daughter showdown has been building all season, and both actresses deliver raw, powerful performances as Anita shifts from threats to emotional manipulation to outright pleading. 2. Anita's meeting with Ted Richardson, revealing she has evidence of his financial crimes that could send him to prison. She offers to destroy this evidence if he'll use his banking connections to move assets offshore before they can be frozen. 3. The chilling scene where Anita visits Leslie Thomas, discovering Leslie has been gathering evidence against the Duprees for years. The revelation that Leslie was Marcus Hamilton's secret girlfriend 30 years ago and has orchestrated much of the season's chaos as revenge is a brilliant twist that reframes many earlier scenes. What makes Anita such a compelling character is how the episode forces us to reassess everything we thought we knew about her. The flashbacks reveal a young woman who grew up in poverty and was determined never to be vulnerable again, adding layers of understanding to her ruthless actions without excusing them. The episode's third storyline centers on Chelsea Hamilton's memorial service following her accident at the end of the last episode. The service brings together all of Oakwood's residents, creating the perfect backdrop for several confrontations and revelations. 1. Bill Hamilton's eulogy for his daughter starts as a touching tribute, but transforms into a thinly veiled accusation against the Duprees, whom he clearly blames for Chelsea's death. 2. Martin Richardson's unexpected appearance after weeks in rehab creates tension with Smitty, leading to their private confrontation where Martin finally admits his role in covering up evidence about Marcus's disappearance decades ago. 3. Nicole Dupree Richardson's public breakdown after learning of Ted's plans to flee the country with their children, creating a scene that finally shatters the community's pretense of perfect composure. 4. Eva Thomas making the devastating choice to publicly stand with her sister Leslie against the Duprees, effectively choosing justice over the social standing she's worked decades to maintain. The production design deserves special mention here. The memorial's white roses gradually wilt throughout the scenes, visual symbolism for the decay of Oakwood's pristine facade. The cinematography uses increasingly unstable handheld camera work as tensions escalate, physically representing how control is slipping away from these characters. In contrast to the older generation's desperate attempts to maintain power and secrets, this episode showcases the growing alliance between Naomi Hamilton and Danny Dupree, former childhood friends torn apart by their family's rivalry who have reconnected through their shared desire for truth. Their scenes together provide a necessary counterbalance to the episode's darkness. 1. Their clandestine meeting in the community garden, once tended by Marcus Hamilton, where Naomi reveals she's found her uncle's journal hidden in her father's study. 2. Their confrontation with Bill Hamilton, where Naomi stands up to her father for perhaps the first time, declaring she won't perpetuate the cycle of revenge and secrets. 3. The powerful moment when they decide to bring Marcus's journal directly to the federal investigators, choosing truth over family loyalty. What makes their storyline so effective is how it offers a glimmer of hope amid the community's collapse, suggesting that perhaps the next generation can break the cycles of deception that have defined the Oakwood estates. The journal entries and flashbacks finally reveal that Marcus Hamilton was killed accidentally during a confrontation with Vernon, Anita, and Bill. Marcus threatened to expose their land fraud scheme, leading to a physical struggle where he fell and hit his head. The truly shocking revelation is that all three were involved in covering up his death and using the fraudulently obtained money to build Oakwood Estates, essentially founding their perfect community on a literal buried secret. The episode strongly implies that Chelsea's car accident wasn't accidental at all. Security footage recovered by Eva Thomas shows Leslie tampering with Chelsea's car the night before. This suggests Leslie's revenge extended beyond just exposing secrets to actual murder, adding a disturbing new dimension to her character. Perhaps the most personally devastating revelation is that Ted Richardson has been working with federal investigators for months, wearing a wire during conversations with both the Duprees and his own family members. His immunity deal will save him from prosecution, but essentially sacrifices everyone else in his life. These revelations work so effectively because they've been carefully seeded throughout the season. Attentive viewers will recognize how certain, seemingly minor scenes from earlier episodes now take on enormous significance. The episode builds to its emotional climax with a long-awaited confrontation between Vernon and Anita Dupree, a scene that plays with devastating emotional precision. After learning the full truth about Anita's role in both the land fraud and the aftermath of Marcus's death, Vernon returns home to find Anita preparing to flee. Their confrontation spans the full emotional spectrum, from Vernon's initial rage to Anita's desperate justifications, to a moment of genuine connection as they acknowledge how their choices have led them to this point. The scene is brilliantly written to show both characters at their most vulnerable. Vernon finally admits he stayed in a morally compromised position out of love for Anita, not just ambition. Anita reveals her deepest fear has always been returning to the poverty she escaped. Both acknowledge they've corrupted their daughters through their choices. What makes this scene so powerful is that despite everything we now know about these characters' misdeeds, the writers and actors make us feel the genuine love between them, making their downfall all the more tragic. Just when it seems the episode has delivered all its revelations, the final minutes deliver three successive twists that leave viewers desperate for next week. 1. As federal agents arrive at the Dupree mansion to make arrests, Vernon makes the decision to confess to Marcus's murder, taking full responsibility to protect Anita and Bill, a final act of sacrifice. 2. Bill Hamilton receives an anonymous package containing evidence that Leslie Thomas was responsible for Chelsea's death, setting up his revenge arc for the final episodes. 3. In the episode's final moments, Naomi makes a shocking discovery while reviewing her uncle's journal, a reference to a baby that suggests someone in Oakwood Estates might actually be Marcus Hamilton's child. The episode ends with a montage of all the major characters watching news reports about the Oakwood scandal breaking nationally, set to a haunting cover of Behind Closed Doors, a perfect musical choice that underscores the series' central themes. The episode forces us to confront how the beautiful community of Oakwood was built on corruption, deception, and death. The visual contrast between the immaculate homes and the moral bankruptcy of their owners has never been more stark. The parallel stories of the older generation trying desperately to maintain their secrets and the younger generation fighting for truth highlights how trauma and corruption are inherited and how difficult but necessary it is to break these cycles. Every character in this episode faces the ultimate choice between doing what's right and protecting those they love. There are no easy answers, which is what makes the drama so compelling. The series' most consistent theme reaches its zenith as all facades crumble, revealing the true nature of these characters we've followed all season. Some reveal surprising integrity, while others show even deeper corruption than we suspected. With just 3 episodes remaining, here are the burning questions we need answered. 1. Who is Marcus Hamilton's child, and have they been living in Oakwood all along? 2. Will Vernon actually go to prison for a crime that was a group effort? 3. How will Bill Hamilton respond to learning the truth about his daughter's death? 4. Can Danny and Naomi create something positive from the community's collapse? 5. What will happen to the residents of Oakwood Estates now that their financial foundations are revealed to be fraudulent? Based on the trajectory of the season, I'm predicting we'll see at least one more major death before the finale, likely Leslie Thomas as Bill's revenge. I also suspect the revelation of Marcus's child will fundamentally alter the power dynamics between the founding families. Beyond the Gates continues to deliver some of the most compelling drama on television, and episode 35 might just be the series' crowning achievement so far. The performances, particularly from, deserve Emmy consideration for how they've evolved these characters throughout the season. What did you think of these massive revelations? Were you shocked by the truth about Marcus Hamilton's death? And who do you think his child might be? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit that like button and subscribe for our coverage of the final 3 episodes. Based on where things stand now, the season finale is going to be absolutely explosive. Until next week, when we'll see how Vernon's sacrifice impacts the rest of the community. Thanks for watching.